Dr. Elena Vasquez stared at the holographic display floating above her laboratory table, her coffee growing cold in her trembling hands. The blood sample analysis had taken 3 days to complete, and the results defied everything she thought she knew about human genetics. The sample belonged to Marcus Chen, a 24-year-old construction worker who had volunteered for the Galactic Integration Health Survey. What should have been a routine screening for diseases and genetic markers had turned into something that made Elena question her 15 years of xenobiology research. The genetic sequence displayed on her screen showed markers that shouldn't exist in any known human population. More troubling were the dormant genetic switches that seemed designed to activate under specific conditions. Elena had seen similar patterns before, but only in the genetic archives of the Kytherian Empire, an ancient civilization that had vanished from the galaxy over 50,000 years ago. Marcus sat in the waiting room outside her laboratory, completely unaware that his blood might hold the key to humanity's true origin. Elena had requested additional samples from his family members, and each test had revealed the same impossible truth. The Chen family, like approximately 12% of Earth's population, carried genetic markers that suggested they were descendants of the Kytherians. The implications were staggering. The Kytherian Empire had been the most advanced civilization the galaxy had ever known. Their technology had allowed them to manipulate space and time itself, creating weapons that could destroy entire star systems and defensive barriers that could withstand the combined assault of 100 fleets. They had ruled over 3/4 of the known galaxy before mysteriously disappearing. Elena picked up her communication device and contacted her research partner, Dr. James Wright, who was currently stationed on the research vessel Harmony orbiting Earth's moon. His hologram materialized in front of her desk, his expression immediately serious when he saw her face. "Elena, you look like you've seen a ghost. What did the analysis reveal?" She transmitted the data to his terminal and watched his eyes widen as he reviewed the results. James had been studying Kytherian artifacts for the past decade, and he recognized the genetic patterns immediately. "This is impossible," he whispered. "The Kytherians went extinct 50 millennia ago. There's no way their genetic material could have survived this long, especially not integrated into human DNA." Elena stood up and began pacing around her laboratory. "That's what I thought too, but the evidence is undeniable. The genetic markers are too specific and too complex to be coincidental. Someone or something deliberately introduced Kytherian DNA into the human gene pool." She pulled up additional screens showing population distribution maps. Red dots appeared across every continent on Earth, representing individuals who carried the Kytherian markers. The pattern wasn't random. The highest concentrations appeared in areas where humanity had achieved significant technological breakthroughs or had survived catastrophic events. "James, look at this distribution pattern. The markers are most prevalent in populations that have demonstrated exceptional problem-solving abilities or resistance to environmental pressures. It's as if someone was selectively breeding humans for specific traits." Dr. Wright's hologram flickered as the communication signal encountered interference from a passing asteroid. When his image stabilized, his expression had changed to one of deep concern. "Elena, if what you're suggesting is true, then humanity isn't just another species that evolved naturally on Earth. We might be the result of deliberate genetic engineering by the most advanced civilization in galactic history." The implications of this discovery extended far beyond scientific curiosity. The Galactic Council, a governing body representing 47 different species, had always viewed humanity as a primitive species that had barely achieved interstellar travel. Earth had been granted limited membership in galactic society primarily because of humanity's potential, not because of any demonstrated technological superiority. But if humans carried Kytherian genetic material, everything would change. The Kytherians had been feared and respected throughout the galaxy. Their disappearance had left behind technological artifacts that modern civilization still couldn't fully understand or replicate. If humanity was connected to the Kytherians, it would shift the balance of power in galactic politics. Elena's laboratory door chimed, indicating that someone was requesting entry. She authorized the access, and Marcus Chen walked into the room. He was tall and broad-shouldered, with the calloused hands of someone who worked with construction equipment. His dark eyes held an intelligence that seemed deeper than his formal education would suggest. "Dr. Vasquez, you said you needed to discuss my test results. Is there a problem with my health?" Elena gestured for him to take a seat while she considered how to explain her findings. The truth was so extraordinary that she struggled to find the right words. "Marcus, your health is excellent. Better than excellent, actually. Your cellular regeneration rate is approximately 30% faster than the human average, and your neural activity patterns suggest enhanced cognitive processing capabilities." Marcus frowned, clearly confused by the technical language. "I don't understand. Are you saying there's something wrong with me?" "No, Marcus. I'm saying there's something remarkable about you. About your entire genetic lineage." Elena activated the holographic display, showing simplified genetic sequences that Marcus could understand. "Your DNA contains markers that shouldn't exist in any human population. These markers are associated with enhanced physical and mental capabilities." She paused, watching Marcus's reaction carefully. "The same markers have been found in the genetic archives of an ancient civilization called the Kytherians. They were the most advanced species in galactic history before they mysteriously vanished 50,000 years ago." Marcus stared at the display, his expression shifting from confusion to amazement. "You're telling me that I'm descended from some kind of ancient aliens? That's one possibility. Another is that the Kytherians genetically modified early human populations for reasons we don't yet understand. What we do know is that approximately 12% of Earth's population carries these markers, and they're not randomly distributed." Elena pulled up the global distribution map, highlighting the patterns she had discovered. "The markers are most common in populations that have demonstrated exceptional resilience, creativity, and problem-solving abilities throughout history. It's as if someone was trying to enhance humanity's potential for survival and advancement." Dr. Wright's voice came through the communication system, adding his perspective to the conversation. "Marcus, we believe that these genetic modifications might be the reason humanity has progressed so rapidly compared to other species. Most civilizations take millions of years to develop interstellar travel. Humanity achieved it in less than 50,000 years." Marcus stood up and walked to the window overlooking the sprawling research complex. Outside, he could see the landing platforms where ships from dozens of different worlds regularly arrived with diplomatic delegations, trade representatives, and scientific researchers. Earth had become a hub of galactic activity in just the past 50 years. If this is true, what does it mean for humanity? What does it mean for people like me who carry these markers? Elena joined him at the window, her voice filled with both excitement and concern. "That's what we need to figure out. The Galactic Council has always viewed humanity as a junior partner in galactic affairs. If they learn that humans are connected to the Kytherians, it could change everything. Some species might view us as a threat. Others might see us as the key to unlocking Kytherian technology." The conversation was interrupted by an urgent alert from Dr. Wright's research vessel. His hologram reappeared with news that would complicate their situation even further. "Elena, we're receiving an incoming transmission from the Zephyrian Imperium. Ambassador Kelthera is requesting an immediate meeting with Earth's scientific leadership. Her message specifically mentions recent discoveries related to human genetic analysis. The Zephyrians were one of the most powerful military forces in the galaxy, second only to the extinct Kytherian Empire in terms of technological advancement. Their interest in human genetics could not be a coincidence." Elena felt a chill run down her spine. How could they possibly know about our research? "We've been careful to keep all communications encrypted and limited to authorized personnel." Marcus turned from the window, his expression now showing concern. "Dr. Vasquez, are you saying that my blood test results might put Earth in danger?" Before Elena could respond, her laboratory systems detected an unauthorized scanning beam originating from somewhere in Earth's orbital space. Someone was actively monitoring their research facility, and the technology being used was far more advanced than anything in Earth's current arsenal. "James, are you detecting any unusual activity around the research station?" Dr. Wright's voice carried a note of alarm.
Elena, I'm reading multiple unidentified vessels in Earth's outer system.
They're using some kind of stealth technology that makes them nearly invisible to our sensors.
Whatever they're doing, they've been watching us for a while.
The situation was escalating beyond anything Elena had prepared for. What had started as a routine genetic analysis was now potentially exposing humanity to scrutiny from multiple galactic powers.
The secret of human genetic enhancement was no longer contained within her laboratory.
Marcus walked back to the table and placed his hand on Elena's shoulder. Dr. Vasquez, I may not understand all the science behind this, but I know when people are in trouble.
What can I do to help? Elena looked at this construction worker who had unknowingly become the center of a galactic mystery.
His willingness to help despite the potential danger reminded her why she had become a scientist in the first place.
The pursuit of knowledge was supposed to benefit humanity, not endanger it. Marcus, I think we need to contact the Earth Defense Council immediately. If other civilizations are this interested in human genetics, we need to be prepared for what comes next.
She activated the emergency communication protocols that would alert Earth's military and political leadership to the developing situation.
Within minutes, representatives from the Earth Defense Council, the Scientific Research Directorate, and the Galactic Relations Department would be converging on her laboratory. As they waited for the officials to arrive, Elena continued analyzing Marcus's genetic data.
The more she studied the Kytherian markers, the more questions arose.
The modifications weren't just random enhancements.
They appeared to be part of a sophisticated system designed to activate under specific conditions. James, I'm seeing activation triggers in the genetic code that respond to stress, danger, and extreme environmental conditions. It's as if the Kytherians designed these modifications to enhance human survival capabilities during critical moments. Dr. Wright's analysis of the orbital surveillance confirmed Elena's growing suspicions.
The scanning patterns suggest they're not just observing us. They're actively searching for specific genetic signatures. Someone is looking for people like Marcus.
The first government officials began arriving at the laboratory complex, their vehicles escorted by military security forces. Elena realized that her quiet research career was about to become the center of galactic attention. Marcus watched the activity outside with a mixture of fascination and concern.
Dr. Vasquez, whatever happens next, I want you to know that I trust your judgment.
If these genetic markers make me different, then I want to use that difference to help humanity.
Elena felt a surge of pride in the young man's courage.
Despite learning that his genetics might make him a target for alien civilizations, Marcus was focused on how he could contribute to humanity's future. It was exactly the kind of attitude that the Kytherian genetic modifications seemed designed to promote. The laboratory door opened, and Director Sarah Hamilton of the Earth Defense Council entered with a team of advisors and security personnel. Her expression was grim as she approached Elena's workstation. Dr. Vasquez, we need to understand exactly what you've discovered and how it relates to the unusual activity we're detecting throughout the solar system.
The survival of human independence might depend on the answers we find in this room.
Elena took a deep breath and began preparing for the most important briefing of her career. The truth about human genetic enhancement was about to become a matter of galactic security, and the decisions made in the next few hours would determine humanity's future among the stars. Director Hamilton studied the genetic analysis data while her security team established protective protocols around the laboratory. The revelation that 12% of humanity carried ancient Kytherian genetic markers had transformed a scientific discovery into a potential crisis of galactic proportions.
Dr. Vasquez, how confident are you in these findings?
Director Hamilton asked, her voice carrying the weight of someone who understood the implications of the research.
Elena pulled up additional verification screens. Director, I've run the analysis 17 times using different methodologies.
I've also cross-referenced the results with genetic samples from 12 different countries. The Kytherian markers are consistent across all populations, and the activation sequences are identical. Marcus remained seated at the laboratory table, observing the intense discussions around him. Despite being at the center of the discovery, he felt oddly calm. Something deep in his mind suggested that this moment had been inevitable, though he couldn't explain why he felt that way. Dr. Wright's voice came through the communication system with an urgent update.
Director Hamilton, the unidentified vessels in Earth's outer system are moving into formation. We're detecting energy signatures consistent with charging weapons systems.
The director activated her emergency communication device, connecting her to the Earth Defense Fleet Command Center.
Admiral Chen, I need all available ships to move into defensive positions around Earth. We have a potential first contact situation developing. Admiral Chen? Marcus looked up with surprise. That's my uncle. Admiral David Chen of the Defense Fleet.
Director Hamilton paused in her communications and stared at Marcus.
Your uncle is Admiral Chen? The same Admiral Chen who developed the breakthrough defensive strategies that allowed Earth to maintain independence during the Galactic Council negotiations? Elena quickly accessed military personnel records and confirmed the family connection.
Director, this adds another layer to the mystery.
Admiral Chen also carries the Kytherian genetic markers.
His strategic capabilities have been considered exceptional by every military analysis.
The implications were becoming clearer. The Kytherian genetic modifications weren't randomly distributed through humanity.
They appeared in individuals who had made significant contributions to human advancement and survival. Dr. Vasquez, I need you to run an analysis on the genetic records of Earth's most influential leaders, scientists, and military personnel from the past century. If there's a pattern to these modifications, we need to understand it immediately. Elena began accessing the genetic databases while Director Hamilton coordinated with military commanders. Within 30 minutes, the results confirmed their worst fears and greatest hopes. 93% of humanity's most significant leaders, innovators, and heroes carried the Kytherian genetic markers. From the scientists who developed faster-than-light travel to the diplomats who negotiated Earth's entry into galactic society, the genetic modifications were present in almost every individual who had shaped humanity's rapid advancement. Director, Elena said, her voice shaking as she viewed the comprehensive results.
The Kytherian genetic modifications aren't just random enhancements. They're a systematic program designed to guide human development. Whoever implemented this program wanted humanity to achieve specific milestones.
Marcus stood up and approached the main display screen. Dr. Vasquez, you said that these genetic modifications activate under stress and dangerous conditions.
What exactly do they do when they activate? Elena pulled up the activation sequence analysis.
The modifications enhance neural processing speed, improve physical coordination and strength, and increase resistance to environmental hazards.
But there's something else. The genetic code contains information sequences that appear to unlock advanced technological understanding. She highlighted specific sections of the genetic structure.
Marcus, when these markers fully activate, they provide access to scientific and technological knowledge that shouldn't be possible for current human development levels.
It's as if the Kytherians embedded their own knowledge base into human DNA.
Dr. Wright's voice interrupted their discussion with alarming news. Director Hamilton, the alien vessels are hailing Earth. They're requesting permission to establish orbit and begin negotiations.
The lead vessel identifies itself as the Kytherian Restoration Fleet. The silence in the laboratory was complete.
The Kytherians, who had been extinct for 50,000 years, were apparently returning to reclaim their genetic legacy. Director Hamilton immediately activated the highest-level emergency protocols. Admiral Chen, I need you to maintain defensive positions but do not engage unless directly threatened.
We're dealing with a civilization that once controlled 3/4 of the galaxy. Admiral Chen responding.
Director, our fleet is ready, but I have to report something unusual.
Every officer carrying the genetic markers is experiencing enhanced mental clarity and strategic insight. It's as if our minds are processing tactical information at an accelerated rate. Marcus felt a tingling sensation in his mind, as if dormant pathways were suddenly becoming active.
The laboratory equipment around him seemed more familiar somehow, as though he understood its function on a deeper level than his education should allow.
Dr. Vasquez, I'm feeling different.
The machinery in your laboratory, the genetic sequences on the screens, they're starting to make sense to me in ways they shouldn't. Elena monitored Marcus's neural activity and detected significant changes in his brainwave patterns.
The stress of the situation is triggering the activation sequence.
Marcus, your mind is accessing knowledge that was embedded in your genetic code 50,000 years ago. Director Hamilton made a decision that would determine humanity's future. Open communication channels with the Kytherian fleet. We need to understand what they want and why they've returned now. The main laboratory screen flickered and displayed the image of a being that was unmistakably related to humanity, yet clearly more advanced. The Kytherian representative was tall and elegant, with features that suggested humanity might have been modeled after Kytherian genetics rather than the other way around.
Greetings, descendants of Terra. I am Keeper Alderaan of the Kytherian Restoration Fleet.
We have monitored your species development for 50 millennia, waiting for the moment when our genetic gifts would begin to manifest. Director Hamilton stepped forward to respond.
Keeper Alderaan, I am Director Hamilton representing Earth's government.
We demand to know why you genetically modified our species without our knowledge or consent. The Kytherian's expression remained calm and patient. Director Hamilton, your species faced extinction multiple times during its early development. Asteroid impacts, volcanic eruptions, ice ages, and primitive warfare threatened to destroy humanity before it could reach its potential. The Keeper gestured, and holographic displays showed Earth's history from 50,000 years ago. Scenes of early human civilizations struggling against natural disasters and environmental challenges played out in stunning detail. The Kytherian Empire had a choice when we discovered your species. We could allow natural selection to take its course, likely resulting in human extinction, or we could provide genetic modifications that would enhance your survival capabilities while preserving your essential nature. Marcus found himself understanding the Keeper's words with perfect clarity, as if the Kytherian language was somehow familiar to him.
Keeper Alderaan, why did you disappear from the galaxy? Why leave us alone for 50,000 years? Young descendant, the Kytherian Empire faced a threat that required our complete attention.
We retreated to dimensions beyond normal spacetime to combat entities that sought to consume all life in this galaxy. Our war has lasted 50 millennia, but we have finally achieved victory.
Elena stepped forward with her scientific training overriding her amazement.
Keeper, the genetic modifications you implemented, they're designed to activate under specific conditions.
What are you preparing humanity for? The Keeper's expression became more serious.
Dr. Vasquez, the threat we faced has been eliminated, but its defeat has created new challenges.
The barriers between dimensions have been weakened. Other entities, some hostile, will soon discover pathways into our reality. A holographic display changed to show cosmic phenomena that defied human understanding. Tears in spacetime revealed glimpses of other dimensions filled with incomprehensible life forms.
Humanity was designed to be our successors. The genetic modifications we provided will allow your species to develop technologies and capabilities necessary to defend this galaxy. But the activation process requires voluntary acceptance of the responsibility. Director Hamilton understood the magnitude of what was being offered. Keeper Alderaan, you're asking humanity to become the guardians of galactic civilization.
Director, we are offering humanity the opportunity to claim its intended destiny.
The genetic modifications can be fully activated, providing access to Kytherian technology and knowledge. But this power comes with the responsibility to protect all life in this galaxy. Marcus felt the genetic modifications responding to the Keeper's words.
Knowledge was flooding his mind, showing him technologies that could revolutionize human civilization.
Faster-than-light communication, energy sources that could power entire star systems, defensive systems that could protect planets from cosmic threats.
Dr. Vasquez, I can see the technologies they're offering. Medical advances that could eliminate disease, environmental restoration systems that could heal damaged worlds, peaceful energy sources that could end resource conflicts.
But Elena was also seeing the darker implications.
Keeper, this level of technological advancement would make humanity the dominant force in the galaxy. Other species might see us as a threat. Dr. Vasquez, the genetic modifications include enhanced empathy and wisdom protocols. Individuals with activated Kytherian genetics are incapable of using their abilities for conquest or oppression. The modifications ensure that power is always balanced with responsibility. Admiral Chen's voice came through the communication system. Director Hamilton, I'm receiving reports from Defense Fleet officers throughout the system.
Those carrying the genetic markers are experiencing tactical insights that are allowing them to coordinate with unprecedented efficiency.
The Keeper nodded with approval. Admiral Chen, your tactical enhancements are functioning properly.
The Kytherian genetic modifications enhance individual capabilities while improving collective coordination.
Your species will become more united, not more divided.
Director Hamilton realized that humanity was facing the most important decision in its history.
Keeper Alderaan, what happens if we refuse your offer? Can humanity continue developing at its own pace?
Director, the dimensional barriers will continue to weaken regardless of your decision. Without Kytherian technology and capabilities, your species will be vulnerable to the entities that will soon discover this reality.
Acceptance of our legacy provides protection. Rejection ensures eventual extinction.
The choice was clear, but Director Hamilton understood that it couldn't be made by one person or even one government. This decision would affect every human being and, potentially, every species in the galaxy.
Keeper, we need time to discuss this with Earth's population and the Galactic Council.
This decision will change the fundamental nature of human civilization.
Director Hamilton, time is a luxury that may not be available. Our sensors detect dimensional instabilities that suggest hostile entities have already begun exploring pathways to this reality. The window for preparation is closing.
Marcus stepped forward, his mind now clearly processing information that had been dormant his entire life.
Keeper Alderaan, what exactly are you asking me to decide? As an individual carrying these genetic markers, what role would I play in this transformation?
The Keeper's attention focused on Marcus with obvious interest.
Young descendant, individuals like yourself would become the bridge between current humanity and its enhanced future.
The genetic activation process must be voluntary, and it must begin with those who already carry the markers.
Elena understood the implications immediately. Marcus, they're asking you to be among the first humans to voluntarily activate the full Kytherian genetic modifications.
You would become a prototype for enhanced humanity. The weight of the decision settled on Marcus's shoulders. His choice wouldn't just affect his own life.
It would determine whether humanity accepted its engineered destiny or faced an uncertain future with its current limitations.
Outside the laboratory, Earth's defense fleet maintained defensive positions while alien vessels from dozens of species converged on the solar system. Word of the Kytherian return was spreading throughout galactic civilization, and every major power wanted to witness humanity's transformation or ensure it didn't threaten their own interests.
Director Hamilton made an announcement that would echo throughout history. Keeper Alderaan, Earth's government and people need to understand the full implications of this decision. We request a formal presentation to the Galactic Council and Earth's population. Humanity's choice will be made with full knowledge of the consequences.
The Keeper agreed, but his expression carried a warning. Director, we will provide complete information, but remember that the dimensional threats we detected are approaching rapidly. The luxury of extended deliberation may cost your species its future. As preparations began for the most important presentation in human history, Marcus found himself at the center of a transformation that would determine not just his own fate, but the destiny of human civilization among the stars. The Galactic Council chamber had never hosted an emergency session of this magnitude. Representatives from every major civilization in the galaxy gathered to witness what many believed would be the most significant moment in recorded history. Earth's presentation would determine not only humanity's future, but potentially the balance of power throughout galactic civilization. Marcus stood in the preparation chamber adjacent to the main assembly hall, his mind processing information at levels that still amazed him. The partial activation of his Kytherian genetic modifications had provided him with insights into technologies and strategies that his engineering background should never have supported. Yet somehow, the knowledge felt natural, as if it had always been part of him. Dr. Elena Vasquez reviewed her presentation materials one final time. The scientific evidence supporting the Kytherian genetic intervention was overwhelming, but she knew that many species would view enhanced humanity as a threat to their own positions in galactic society.
Marcus, are you ready for this?
Once you demonstrate the capabilities that genetic activation provides, there will be no going back. Every species in the galaxy will know what humanity can become. Marcus checked the monitoring equipment that would record his physiological changes during the demonstration.
Dr. Vasquez, I've thought about this constantly for the past week.
If these modifications can help humanity protect the galaxy from dimensional threats, then I have a responsibility to show what's possible.
Director Hamilton entered the chamber with final updates from Earth's government. The vote has been completed.
Earth's population has decided to proceed with the presentation and allow voluntary genetic activation for those who choose it. Marcus, you're representing not just yourself, but humanity's future. Keeper Alderaan materialized through the chamber's holographic projector, his presence commanding immediate attention.
Young descendant, the dimensional scans we conducted this morning detected 3 separate breach attempts in distant sectors.
The hostile entities we fought for 50 millennia are beginning to probe this reality.
Your species' decision cannot be delayed much longer.
Elena felt a chill at the Keeper's words.
Keeper Alderaan, what exactly are these dimensional entities? What threat do they pose to galactic civilization?
The Keeper's expression darkened. Dr. Vasquez, imagine beings composed of pure entropy, entities that consume not just matter and energy, but the fundamental forces that allow reality to exist.
They transform living worlds into dimensional voids, erasing entire civilizations from existence. Marcus understood the implications immediately. Keeper, the Kytherian genetic modifications, they're specifically designed to combat these entities, aren't they? Correct, young descendant.
The modifications provide access to dimensional manipulation technologies, energy forms that can exist across multiple realities, and defensive capabilities that function beyond normal spacetime limitations. The chamber's communication system activated, signaling that the Galactic Council was ready to begin the session. Elena gathered her research materials while Marcus performed final checks on the demonstration equipment that would measure his genetic activation process.
Remember, Director Hamilton said, we're not just presenting scientific data. We're showing the galaxy that humanity deserves to claim its engineered destiny.
The main assembly hall contained representatives from 47 different civilizations, each with their own concerns about humanity's potential transformation. The Zephyrian military delegation watched with obvious suspicion, while the scholarly Quarians appeared fascinated by the scientific implications. Elena approached the central presentation platform, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast chamber. Honored representatives, 7 days ago, routine genetic analysis revealed that 12% of humanity carries genetic modifications implemented 50,000 years ago by the Kytherian Empire.
The holographic displays showed the genetic evidence in detail, highlighting the sophisticated modifications that had guided human development for millennia.
Murmurs of amazement and concern rippled through the assembled delegates. These modifications were designed to enhance human survival capabilities while preserving our essential nature. More importantly, they contain knowledge and abilities that become accessible under specific activation conditions.
Ambassador Kelthera of the Zephyrian Imperium stood to address the assembly. Dr. Vasquez, the Zephyrian military has analyzed human tactical capabilities for decades. If your species possesses hidden Kytherian enhancements, it represents a significant shift in galactic power structures. Elena had anticipated this concern. Ambassador Kelthera, the genetic modifications include protocols that prevent their use for aggressive purposes. Enhanced humans are incapable of using their abilities for conquest or oppression. How can you possibly guarantee such limitations? The ambassador's challenge carried the weight of military authority. Marcus stepped forward to answer.
Ambassador, because the modifications are already active in me, and I can demonstrate their true nature. The assembly fell silent as Marcus approached the monitoring station.
Elena activated the sensors that would track his physiological changes while he voluntarily triggered the full genetic activation sequence.
What you're about to witness, Marcus said, is the transformation that the Kytherians designed to help humanity protect galactic civilization.
The activation began gradually.
Marcus's neural activity increased exponentially while his physical coordination became fluid and precise. But, more importantly, his mind gained access to technological knowledge that allowed him to understand the advanced equipment around him with perfect clarity. I can see solutions to problems that have challenged galactic civilization for centuries, Marcus explained as the modifications reached full activation. Medical techniques that could extend lifespans across all species, environmental restoration technologies that could heal damaged worlds, defensive systems that could protect entire star sectors. The Quarian representative, Scholar Marin, leaned forward with intense interest.
Human Marcus, can you demonstrate these enhanced capabilities?
Marcus approached a complex quantum computer that had been brought in specifically for testing purposes.
The device represented the pinnacle of galactic technology, requiring specialized training to operate.
Yet Marcus began interfacing with it immediately, his enhanced mind processing quantum calculations at unprecedented speeds. The quantum processing limitations that currently restrict faster-than-light communication, Marcus explained while working, can be overcome by introducing dimensional resonance patterns that allow information to exist simultaneously across multiple spacetime coordinates. Within minutes, Marcus had modified the quantum computer to achieve communication speeds that the galaxy's best scientists had deemed impossible. Messages were transmitted instantaneously across light-year distances, proving that Kytherian knowledge could revolutionize galactic civilization. Elena monitored Marcus's vital signs throughout the demonstration. Representatives observed that despite accessing knowledge far beyond current human education levels, Marcus retains his essential personality and ethical framework. The modifications enhance capabilities without compromising individual identity.
Keeper Alderán's hologram appeared in the center of the assembly. Honored representatives, what you have witnessed represents a fraction of the capabilities that genetic activation provides.
More importantly, these enhancements are specifically designed to operate cooperatively rather than competitively.
The Keeper gestured, and additional displays showed projections of enhanced humans working alongside alien species.
Activated humans cannot function as conquerors because their enhanced empathy makes them incapable of causing unnecessary harm. They become natural protectors and collaborators. Ambassador Kelthera remains skeptical. Keeper Alderaan, your assurances are impressive, but the Zephyrian Imperium has learned to be cautious about species that suddenly acquire advanced capabilities.
Marcus looked directly at the Zephyrian ambassador.
Ambassador, I can understand your concerns because the genetic modifications allow me to process your perspective with enhanced empathy. You're worried that enhanced humanity might threaten Zephyrian security and independence.
The ambassador nodded, surprised by Marcus's accurate assessment.
But I can also see solutions that would strengthen both species, Marcus continued.
Kytherian defensive technologies could be adapted to protect Zephyrian worlds, while Zephyrian military strategies could be enhanced to address dimensional threats more effectively.
Elena realized that Marcus was demonstrating the most important aspect of the genetic modifications.
Enhanced humans didn't just gain individual capabilities.
They developed an instinctive understanding of how to create mutually beneficial relationships with other species.
Scholar Marin spoke for the Quarian delegation. Keeper Alderaan, the scientific applications alone justify supporting human genetic activation. But, what specific timeline are we facing regarding these dimensional threats? The Keeper's expression became urgent. Scholar Marin, our long-range sensors detected 17-dimensional breach attempts in the past 48 hours. The hostile entities are systematically testing the barriers between realities. We estimate that major incursions will begin within 6 standard months. The assembly erupted in concerned discussions as representatives realized that the dimensional threat was immediate rather than theoretical. Director Hamilton seized the moment to address the Council's fears. Honored representatives, humanity is offering to accept the responsibility of galactic defense not because we seek power, but because we were designed for this purpose. The choice is between enhanced humans protecting civilization or all of us facing extinction. Ambassador Kelthera conferred with her military advisors before responding. Director Hamilton, if humanity accepts full genetic activation, what guarantees can you provide that enhanced humans will remain accountable to galactic civilization?
Marcus answered before the director could respond.
Ambassador, the genetic modifications include an instinctive understanding that individual survival depends on collective survival. Enhanced humans literally cannot conceive of actions that would endanger galactic civilization because doing so would contradict their fundamental programming.
Elena supported Marcus's statement with scientific evidence.
Representatives, the neural mapping we've conducted shows that genetic activation creates new brain pathways specifically devoted to collaborative problem-solving and conflict prevention. Keeper Alderaan provided the final piece of information that would influence the Council's decision.
Honored representatives, the Kytherian Empire spent 50 millennia developing these genetic modifications specifically to create a species capable of defending this reality. Humanity is not just enhanced.
Humanity is our answer to the dimensional threat. The voting process began immediately.
Each species had to decide whether to support humanity's genetic activation or oppose the transformation that could determine galactic survival.
The debate that followed would be remembered as the moment when civilization chose its defenders. Elena watched the vote tallies appear on the chamber's main display. 39 species voted in favor of human genetic activation. 7 opposed it. 1 abstained. Humanity had been given permission to claim its Kytherian legacy.
Marcus felt the final activation sequences beginning throughout his genetic structure. The knowledge and capabilities that had been dormant for 50,000 years were finally becoming fully accessible. But, more importantly, he could sense similar activations beginning in other humans throughout Earth's population. Keeper Alderaan, Marcus said, his voice carrying new authority and confidence. Humanity accepts the responsibility of galactic defense. We will protect this reality from dimensional threats while ensuring that all species can develop according to their own nature. Elena smiled as she realized that her voice had stopped shaking. The blood match results that had started this incredible journey had led to humanity's transformation into the protectors of galactic civilization. Her final decision had been to trust in humanity's enhanced potential, and that trust was about to be tested against threats from beyond reality itself. The Galactic Council session concluded with the establishment of the Terra Defense Initiative, a cooperative program that would prepare all species for the coming dimensional conflict. Humanity would lead the defense effort, but every civilization would contribute according to their unique capabilities and resources. As the representatives departed to inform their governments of the historic decision, Marcus remained in the chamber with Elena and Director Hamilton. The weight of responsibility was enormous, but the genetic modifications provided confidence that humanity could fulfill its engineered destiny.
Dr. Vasquez, Marcus said, when you first analyzed my blood sample, did you ever imagine it would lead to this?
Elena looked at the young man who had become the symbol of humanity's transformation.
Marcus, I hoped that our research would benefit humanity.
I never dreamed it would lead to us becoming the guardians of galactic civilization. Outside the council chamber, the first enhanced humans were already beginning their work.
Scientists with activated genetics were developing new defensive technologies.
Military strategists were planning coordinated responses to dimensional threats. Diplomats were establishing cooperative frameworks with alien species. Humanity had claimed its Kytherian legacy, but the real test would come when the dimensional entities finally breached the barriers between realities. The galaxy's survival would depend on whether 50,000 years of genetic engineering had truly prepared humanity for the greatest challenge in cosmic history.